Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm Stock Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-host Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we are reviewing Chucky, Episode 3, streaming now on USA Network and SYFY. Let me introduce the crew, starting off with the one and only Jeff Mohr. Jeff, sir, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Why is that funny? I don't know.
So
Great
good.
to see you.
So happy.
Also joining us this week is Crystal Cleveland, the living dead girl. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Such enthusiasm.
Yeah.
All right. We are happy to welcome special guest host, award-winning filmmaker Christopher
Yay.
Mohr. How you doing, sir?
Let's hug. Let's hug.
Oh my.
Lexi, now it's your turn to hug Chucky.
Oh no. All right. So we if you missed it, that's what I'm trying to say. We have reviewed the first 2 episodes of Chucky, and we were all surprised how much we enjoyed it. So we are as long as we can, we're going to continue reviewing these episodes. And now,
especially me.
3. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He who did not like Chucky. And did not like the first one, but has warmed up. We'll see if this warming up continues for episode 3. But we'll start off giving our first impressions, which will be spoiler free. Then we'll dive into a discussion, which we will get into spoilers, and then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. And of course, before we get started, we hope you enjoy not only this review, but many other reviews that we have on the site. And if you want to help us out, it's easy and free to do. Hit the subscribe button down below, hit the like button. Share with a friend. Yes, yep. Just bang at those keys.
Yeah,
and then
like
of course
people and hackers and just hit the keyboard for no
yeah,
reason.
Yeah. And of course we want to hear your thoughts. Leave some comments down below. All right, what are we talking about? We're talking about Chucky, episode 3. I Like to Be Hugged. Available streaming on SYFY on October 26, 2021. Directed by Dermott Downs. Written by Sarah Acosta and created by Don Mancini. The cast includes Zackary, Arthur, Devon, Sawa, Bjorgvin, Arnarson, Alyvia, Alyn, Briones, and Brad Dourif. Synopsis is, when Jake is finally pushed over the edge by bullies, Chucky reminisces about his first murder as a human boy, urging Jake to now make a choice, kill or be killed. Oh!
That actually totally worked.
Nice job. Yep. Nice job. All right, let's find out what our first impressions were. And we were going to start with Jeff.
Oh.
How does your love for Chucky still blossom?
Yeah, I'm kind of digging the progression here. I mean, in this one, at least from my point of view, Chucky is a lot more forward about accomplishing some goals, and Jake is a lot more. His character starting to change a little as he gets tutoring from Chucky. And someone who's not a Chucky fan, I love the sort of the backstory of the kid when he had his first kill, whose spirit becomes Chucky, correct? Some kind of
Charles Lee.
Anyway,
Ray.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I had
Yay!
I am so excited.
Me happy.
So
kind of a funny guy, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
He is funny.
Kind of funny guy. All right, Crystal, you're up next. What was your first impression of Chucky episode 3?
Well, obviously I loved it. I still am like really happy with the series. I'm really just want to know where it's going. Okay. I'm like, okay, I see how this is progressing. I see how Chucky's tutelage is affecting sweet little innocent. I want to talk about like what's going to happen because I don't know what's going to happen, but I have theories and ideas.
Yes.
I have some ideas, but yeah, no, this was shot really well. Again, they did one of those shots that Christopher was talking about last time, that with the filter, the lens. I mean, that does the split. Diopter. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Bing, big brain. But yeah, did anyone die this episode?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
duh. Yeah.
Oliver,
He doesn't
Oliver
matter. He
Poor.
doesn't
Spoilers.
matter, though.
Spoilers. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. If you haven't watched this show, go.
Yes.
No, go watch it for real. Because, like, yeah, this is absolutely worth it. I mean, this is fast becoming one of my favorite shows. He's so funny. Chucky is just so fleshed out and so real. And of course, I love Brad. Even I'm just so thankful that I got to meet him even once. I hope that he does some more con circuits because so nice and everything. So very unlike Chucky.
Great vocal talent. Yeah, there might actually be 2 deaths, but I think the second one isn't confirmed, right? So,
Not yet.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right.
I don't think this second.
Yeah.
Me too.
No,
I'm with you.
No. So, Christopher, what was your first impression of Chucky episode 3?
Yeah, another great episode. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, there's parts of it that kind of make me a little bit cringe a little bit because I think anytime that you have any kind of like teenager who might be becoming a killer, it's something that makes you feel a little bit weird. But I think it's good to feel that kind of weird as opposed to like, yeah, do this. Because I think if you're cheering for him to do certain things, that's when it gets a little bit kind of creepy, at least in some instances. And this one, you don't want him to. You're hoping he doesn't, turn into what Chucky wants him to be. And I like, and then you also realize how much, Charles Lee Ray, how much he is heft in the head.
Yes.
He was basically born evil, and you get to see those kind of flashbacks of just like where that goes, and you're like, oh gosh, man.
That took an unexpected turn.
Yeah, I mean, it went somewhere I wasn't expecting. I was like, wow, this show's got actually tricked me, and how it's going to play out.
Little matricide never hurt anyone.
Yeah, and it's got some
dark,
but it's also got some heartfelt moments. I mean, there, even though that girl, you just
oh god, I know.
You kind at times you're like, okay, well maybe she has a heart, and then the next minute you're like, Chucky, go kill her, please. She's like one of those people that you love to hate because it's like even those moments where you're like, oh well, she's being sincere, and she opens that mouth, and you're like,
opens the mouth,
and slap her across the face. But I mean, it's got some wonderful moments, I think, and there's some really cool visual moments towards the end.
Oh yeah,
and some really interesting scenarios that play out, I mean, I love the way that sort of the story is unfolding. I think if I had one critique, I think there's just a few moments where the animatronics don't work as well as what you'd hope, and it makes certain moments not as impactful because of just the limitations of that. But that's going to happen when you're dealing with a doll puppet. But overall, another great episode that makes me. And there's even like, if you're paying attention to the episode so far, there's even things that make you wonder about certain characters.
Yes.
Like, why is this character showing up late? Maybe that whole
the
mystery thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's a lot of things like, ooh, I want to find out what happens next, and maybe it's one of those things to where everybody sort of gets together and has to go against Chucky. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm enjoying this show. I mean, this show has turned out a whole lot better than what I expected, and then some. And I think it just, it's like, I have to wait a whole new week for the next episode.
I know. This is one that we could stream it. We'd stream it all in one night. We could binge it rather.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed this one, and I like it, and I still think it's great that great Chucky. But I think this was a step down from the previous two. I really miss Don Mancini directing it because he gave the first two some really good flair, and there was just some great shots that he would maybe borrow from other movies. Regardless, the first two were really well done in that respect, and this one it wobbled a little bit in the first 2/3, but it was entirely saved in that respect by the final act. The final act is really well done when it gets to the house, and there's this little headset rave going on, and then things get a little hot on the second floor. We'll figure all those out here in a little bit. And then, like Christopher said, there were times there was a little too much Chucky. a little Chucky will go a long way. And there was times when that shot should have been a lot shorter. It was like Christopher said, the animatronics just kind of exposed themselves. And maybe it was the harsh lighting, maybe it was the angle or whatever, but it wasn't as smooth in some of the early scenes between Chucky and Jake. I thought once it gets into the shenanigans, the action speeds up. It gets a lot better. But regardless, I still think this show is above and beyond what I was expecting, and I'm having a great time with it, and I can't wait to see the next episode. Yes, next week.
Well, you've just done pissed me off.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Dang.
I was trying to be like Chucky. You know how he gets like so mad. I'm sorry. Was that mean? I wasn't trying to be mean.
No. It's fun.
I was trying.
I'll say like there's a part where Chucky's stabbing someone.
Oh
And
yeah.
the stabbing
looked
fake. It almost looked like an animatronic you'd see in like a bad haunted house on somebody's
That's
lawn.
hard though to get that, because to get you actually have to have like the
force and the
Well,
Yeah,
and
the
I
force.
think that's again that's where you use editing to hide certain things, and I think in the same way that Jaws sort of used certain shots and stuff to sell it, and I think this is where they use so much of it. It took away it just looked like a little doll. I mean, it is a doll, but it didn't look like it was stabbing anything. And
I wonder
to me,
if a
it's like,
shot
it didn't-
from underneath would have looked more impactful instead of from the side, because you saw it from the side. Do you think if it was like coming like that, it would have been
Well,
better?
yeah, there's different
Yeah.
shots that you can make it more impactful. You don't even have to show it going in. You just add a sound effect. But
Yeah.
I think that they showed this kind of like a medium shot on him stabbing the
Yeah.
person. And because it didn't really look like he was stabbing him, it just took away the impact of the whole scene.
Yeah.
So that kind of bothered me a little bit, because I've been so kind of impressed with the use of it. And still there's other parts that work really well, and even the visual stuff, like Doc said. I mean, there's a really cool thing with fire and Chucky in front of it. That's
I love that. It's so
I
good.
want a freaking poster of that.
I even liked when the fire went out in the hallway and all the kids are down there. Wow.
This would never happen, but I loved when it goes down the stair railing too.
Yep.
I was like, there's like like a controlled fire and gasoline there, and I'm like, and that would never catch on fire that easy, but I don't care because it was super
Well, I think
pretty.
also if you had an explosion from a hallway,
you'd feel it, right?
I think you would feel
hope
that.
the heat.
And
What
the
about
heat, yes.
Just because you can't hear it, you probably would even be able to hear a little bit of that. I mean, you would smell. Yeah,
You'd catch the light from the.
You catch
That
it.
too,
You feel
yeah.
There's 100 million things. Yeah.
There'd be debris that would have blown over that railway into the living room. I mean, but movies are not all about reality.
Yeah.
Well, the
Kind of
way the
like-
fire spread too was.
Oh yeah, no, that was totally.
It was cool, but it was.
It was cool. It was more backdraft than reality. And that's okay, because we want it visually. They might as well just add the fire making a noise like too, as it goes along. But yeah, I mean it's
a fire roar.
But yeah, I mean it added to that. It added to sort of like, because you're like, oh, I hope these kids figure out what the hell's happening, even though in reality they would know. But
Well, as I was like watching this, I was like, how is Jake gonna get out of this? Because this is really bad for him as far as what's happening. Well, and then as you realize who's getting got here, they could totally set up Junior.
Yep. Junior's
but I think that's what they're probably going to do, is that they can easily point to different people as being a possible killer. Although
her dancing with him and making him jealous and stuff. I'm
well,
like,
and he took a photo with her too, so it's on his phone, so that they can easily maybe point to, and because he's living with Jake and stuff. So yeah, I think there's a possibility of them possibly trying to pin that on him. Although I am not sad that Oliver's gone, because
I know.
that kid was not a good he's probably going to cry. But I didn't like his acting performance in this show.
Well, there was a couple of times, a couple of scenes where I think it goes above and beyond what a Chucky show needs. One of it is with Carolyn, the little girl in the bed, and
Oh my God!
And it had one of the funniest
I'm gonna
lines.
kill your sister. You snooze, you lose.
Snug as a bug. Snug as a bug.
Snug as a
I
bug,
love
yeah.
it. It's so cute.
When he can't get out, it's like snug as a bug. and then I do Devon Sawa, when he found out that she dressed up as his brother. And the look on it, he did a great job. I have totally bought that his anguish in that. It was like, why would you let her do that? It's just like, that was my brother.
Well, that, and it's also good to see that
the parents,
that Mohr like get smacked in the face of like, oh,
she
yeah,
thinks
your
her
daughter's a
kids
bully.
are good. I know.
And
like,
here's a video of your daughter being a horrible bully.
obviously, your daughter is a bully. You could see how your daughter treats your younger daughter. I mean, it's kind of freaking obvious. Okay, but what scene was very interesting to me is, so when you said Devon, like I kept thinking of the character, is
yeah, that's right.
When Jake says, well, Lexi can be a real bitch. As soon as he said that, I was like, that's Chucky. You realize that, right? Like, and that's why Devon was playing it. He recorded it, but he kept that. Well, you know, Lexi can be a real bitch. Well, you know how Lexi can be a real bitch. What was it? You know what she's like. That's totally Chucky. That's how he talks. That's how he speaks. That's how he. And so I think Devon, is figuring it out. I think he is figuring out that Jake is being influenced. And I'm sure he's heard of, the Chucky story. But the way Jake said that, and then the way he looked at him when he said that, and then I was like, oh, that's awesome. Because you could see how he's being affected by Chucky, verbally even. Like, he's like starting to become like him. And I don't want him to become a killer. Because that's sad. You don't want him to become a killer, but I don't mind Chucky doing his dirty work. I like that. I'm like, yes. I'm going to go kill your sister. Want to come?
And then she tells her, like she goes out and tells her straight away.
Chucky said he's going to kill you.
Why'd you say that?
I didn't say it. Chucky said it. Chucky.
But it are they going to supplant Jake with Carolyn?
Oh, I hope not.
Is she like the second choice, just in case? Or are they just toying around with the idea of them, being these weird pals?
I don't think that Chucky has any desire just yet to groom her. He planted a seed, but like if he really wanted to groom her, I think he'd want her to go and watch with the sister and help, and that's what he's doing with Jake. I think I don't know, is he grooming Jake to be his replacement, to a body replacement? Does he want to do his little voodoo, blah, 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 whatever shit it is? Oh, sorry, whatever he does,
Yeah.
I'm not sure to what end. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways they could go with this.
Yes, and there's 10 episodes of 3 in, and I still haven't seen the 4 cast members I want to see.
They're coming though.
They're coming,
I
but I don't know when.
Did you see oh God, there was like a little snippet of is Chucky a diva on set? That was so cute.
Well, yeah, Jennifer Tilly went to I think a premiere of the show or something, and had like a whole beautiful Chucky dress, like a sparkly Chucky dress.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah.
Sparkly Chucky.
Well,
dress.
yeah. I mean, I am kind of wondering, because I'm like this. It does kind of worry me, because I don't. After seeing what Charles E. Ray was as a kid, I don't want to see that little girl doing that either. So I mean, I guess they could take it there, but I don't think in these days and times that they could do that with a TV show. I mean, it's already kind of shocking, because you don't see that nowadays, where you have like these really young looking kids drinking alcohol and smoking dope.
Oh yeah.
Because it's usually actors that are probably
of age
in their 30s, acting like teenagers.
And they're treating sexuality rather frank as well. So
Yeah.
Well, that
Yeah,
too.
that's
That
fine
too.
away
You don't
from-
see
Yeah.
that.
And pretty matter of fact, almost really is.
Yeah.
I loved little Charles Lee Ray going, hell.
That was
Like, damn.
that was pretty.
It's almost like creepier than Chucky, if you think about
Yeah.
it, because you got this little cute kid.
Well, like he said, he was born that way. And that's
Hmm.
what's he's like, some are made and some are born. And he was born.
Although I think if I was a parent and he was going to town on that piano, I think I would definitely take it to a psychiatrist.
But at that time, I mean, what time? When was he born? Was that like in the 50s or something? I don't know. Did they do stuff like that? Did they
Well,
take
no, he
that as
died.
like-
No,
He died in '88.
yeah, he died in
So it could
'88.
have
So
been
it
in
would
the
have been like
50s. It
Yeah,
looked
so-
like the 50s.
So that'd be
that's all.
58 if he was 30, right? So
He was older than that.
Yeah, so probably 50s,
Yeah.
late 50s maybe.
well, Brad
Although I'll say-
Brad Dourif was born in 1950, so
Yeah, and it was interesting how they had that killer look a little bit like Brad Dourif when he was younger.
That's what I thought too, with like the hair. I was like, whoa. I was like, is
Um,
that supposed to be him? Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be interesting if they had made that killer like someone that was like a real.
I'll
legit
also
killer.
say that like even though there's cool visuals in the house scene, I love some of the visuals in the cemetery.
Oh, me
There's
too.
a really beautiful shot that looks up into the sky from through
Oh,
the
nice.
trees. That's gorgeous, and I love the framing of the tombstones when we get that reveal, the last tombstone. I love the sort of how that sort of scene plays out. You know,
The lighting on this show is so good. Like that, because the scenes you're talking about, I just think that they lit the moonlight so well. It's like, yeah, Christopher, lighting makes such a difference when you have some like experts.
although we're all the you got all these parents letting their kids go partying. I was like, wow, these parents are horrible.
I'm assuming the parents are like, oh, I'm going to study or whatever. I'm
yeah,
sure
they
they're
don't know
lying.
that.
Yeah.
They don't know it's a party.
I
They're
guess so,
lying.
but it seems like stuff they do all the time, which is evidently they're getting away with it.
Yep, evidently they're privileged.
Even the detectives. did.
Yeah, the only one.
Well, yeah,
not
the
there.
opportunity for having a party as well. The parents are at the
Theater.
school meeting with the
Yeah, in the theater
That's
after that.
the teacher and the principal.
that would be the worst because they're going to come home to their drunk kids.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me, but
Yeah. But they did. They
I
were
don't know.
going to a play or a show after that. So
Yeah.
Oh,
They have
that's
plenty
right.
of time. Yeah, the
They had
theater.
to
As soon as
leave.
they-
Yeah.
we gotta leave.
Yeah.
We gotta get,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be really bad if the mayor didn't show up. Right.
My parents pretty much let me do whatever I wanted. So
that explains a lot.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give it our final
Not
thoughts.
good.
Our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Jeff, you are up first.
Oh heck, you give me the easy one. I'm sticking with 4 on this, and I'm
Nice.
into this
Nice.
enough. I wouldn't mind watching. I'll probably binge this when it's all done, just to catch stuff that rolls together that maybe I'm not getting a week apart. I liked more Chucky. I enjoyed it. I get what you're talking about with the stabbing, but it didn't bother me. I just figured it was I mean, the little short arms and the big long knife, you just can't get you just can't get a full swing on it. But and I liked some of that whole silent dance threw me because it's not something I've ever been exposed to. I'll have to ask. I'll have to ask my grandkids, granddaughters.
Well,
That's
it's
something
usually
they've done.
for, are they, I mean, they're raves. They're like, 21 and over.
I got
for
a
sure.
19 and a
Oh,
17.
19.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm giving this a 4 still, just like I think I did the last one, a 4. I'm enjoying it. I'm digging Chucky. I love the talk between him and boy, I'll tell you what, that Jake, the guy that plays Jake,
So
Zackary,
cute.
he
Dr.
could
Nelson.
put a nasty snarl on his face.
Yeah. Yeah.
To look bad, Zackary Arthur. Yeah.
He's
So
getting
favorite
better each
scene.
episode.
I'm going to take what's his name's death, Oliver's.
Oliver's death.
I love the shot of this, shooting up from the dance floor, and you could see the body behind the banister or the railings, and with the spindles, and you could see Chucky's profile, and so
Little red head sticking up.
I thought that was great. I thought that was really nice. And there it is, and nobody notices.
Nope, totally oblivious. Totally oblivious. That was the awesomeness of it, right?
Yeah.
All right, Crystal, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene.
Okay. Oh, so Jeff, I have been to a silent rave, and it was like a bubble party even. So like they even go further than that, like where they had bubbles everywhere, where it's like,
Okay.
when it's like black light. Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Well, they have
kind
phone
of
parties
weird.
at
us
Yeah.
hippies know all about black lights. I'm sorry.
Like I kind of prefer them because the music is like in your head and people don't talk to each other, so it's kind of nice that way.
Social, antisocial, all at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, really. But obviously I love this. I'm still, I'm 4 as well, and I know this is kind of a weird scene, and I like how Jake is, angry and mad, but he's also still good inside. But I really did love the Lexi stabbing doll scene. Of course, I just like dolls, so doll heads and doll stuff. So I really enjoyed him getting out his frustration on, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
His
I
Lexi
do.
doll. His Lexi doll.
That,
His little
all the-
sparring buddy.
all the little beads come flying out at the end.
why would you? Why would you put stuff in unless you're expecting somebody to bleed? I guess.
Yeah.
Like Red Hots
Well,
or
it's
whatever that
just
was.
like
in there.
lots
Red Hots.
and
It did look
lots
like
of-
Red
That's-
Hots.
I thought they were Red Hots. Yeah, I figured
That sounds kind of
Geez,
good.
now he's got to clean those all up off the floor to eat them. It's like,
Yeah, I thought Chucky's like, man, I wish I could eat these.
All right, Christopher, you're up next. Your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene.
Yeah, another great episode that makes me excited to find out what happens next. I mean, I think it's got some, and interesting. It's got all kinds of different moments. It's just not all about the violence, and I mean, there's just some very suspenseful moments. There's a really tender moment when the little girl is like, Chucky wants to hug you, and then she's hugging her sister, and her sister, you could see her sister actually being emotional. So there's some really tender moments. There's a great moment between the teacher where she's like, because she's all about Jake's like, hey, watch this video of your daughter being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a wonderful. It's wonderful the where it's taking it, and there's times where you feel uncomfortable because of situations, but there's also times you're like, oh my gosh, this is cool. There's times where you laugh, because I think there's like one joke about choking that Chucky makes that made me laugh, because he joked about how it's hard for him to choke people because he's got little hands. And then also just the flashbacks and stuff. I mean, yeah, there's some really wonderful things. Oh, by the way, why does the uncle have so many weapons in his?
I know.
I'm starting to wonder if he might be a serial killer. He's got too many like sharp objects in his. But anyway, I digress.
And those don't all look like gardening tools to me.
No, I was like, yeah, this looks like freaking Chainsaw Massacre
Maybe it's the mom's, not his.
tools. Yeah,
Ooh!
maybe. Yeah.
Oh, what
Maybe
if?
well, that's what she's off doing. She's off being a cannibal or something.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, I mean, I loved it, and I think the way it ends, it's almost like an opera, like a horror opera by the end of it, and so yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I think really my issues, a lot of it did have to do with some of the the Chucky things, because they've done such a great job so far and just incorporating all these different ways of animating him and putting a little person in a suit and all these different things kind of worked. But just they stayed too long on certain scenes where he's trying to stabbing, and it just looked like like an animated Chucky doll. It didn't look like it was actually even piercing skin, and so that kind of bothered me because it kind of just took me out of the moment. As for favorite scene, I love that end scene where Chucky's laughing and he's like, and the fire is behind him, and you see the reflection in his eyes and stuff. I mean, it's just like, it's like the perfect shot, I think, in this series. Just the menace that is Chucky, to where it's almost like, his evil is just like, just reflected, by the fire and stuff. I love that specific moment. It felt very operatic and sort of was almost like a cliffhanger for the series, but I kind of like that. I did like that. Although, yeah, I liked a couple other things, just moments. Like when he took his shoes off and you see him with like his little bare feet.
Yeah, that was
looking
so
all
cute.
Even though he's about to try to stab somebody.
Yeah.
I just
Sticking
like,
out from
look
under
at
the
him,
curtains. Right.
walking around in his little sock feet.
Oh my god,
Aren't you
so cute.
And then I think the moment in the cemetery was very heartfelt. And
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 4 as well. Despite my grumblings about longer Chucky scenes than we need. Not that I don't want as much Chucky as we got. It's just that I think the scenes need a little more care. Some of them, but at the same time, when they really do work, they work really well. Speaking of the shot you chose, Christopher, right before that, there's a shot just of his head that is perfect. It's absolutely, it's the color, the lighting, it just and the movement of the face. It just really looks great. It could be, one of those shots that represents the show in its entirety. But my favorite scene, and I hinted toward this earlier, is when he's in the bed with Carolyn, and they get all tucked in the bed together, and it has the whole scene with, "I'm going to go kill your sister. You want to come?" And she goes, "No, she's too tired." And then he can't get out because he's snug as a bug in a rug. Which I don't know. It was just so funny. He couldn't get out. Yep. And I don't know why that tickled me, but it did.
Because it's cute. It's so cute. And then it's when you have this hardcore killer that has actually got hardcore killers that have a little bit of a soft heart are super successful for me. Like I totally I'm all about that because that's kind of who I am. No, I'm such a wuss. But like really, when he has to cut himself out of the freaking sheet, I was like, how's he gonna go kill her? Oh, duh, he keeps those knives sharp.
That's right. Oh man. All right. Well, there you go. That's our review of Chucky episode 3. Let's hope we can keep this up for 7 more episodes. Oh boy. Christopher, thanks for joining us. Jeff, Crystal, thanks for being here. This was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks for making me watch this.
Yeah, and you got to let us know because you said
I would keep watching it on my own. Now I still got to go back and look at some of the movies. I haven't had a chance to yet, but I will.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
When you see Fiona, I love Fiona Dourif too, and so I think it'll be good for you to watch them before we get too far into this, because if she's coming
back. Those two, it's Curse and Cult? Is that right?
Curse and Cult.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. She's so good in it too.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So we want to know, Jeff, when you see those, we want to know your impressions of those 2 movies.
All righty.
So let us know. All right. Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Gruesome Magazine.